When it comes to love, distance can either strengthen a bond or expose the cracks hiding beneath the surface. On 90 Day Fiancé, before the 90 days, viewers have watched countless couples gamble their hearts on relationships formed across continents. But few journeys felt as nerve-wracking and emotionally charged as Elise's decision to board a plane and fly halfway across the world to meet Joshua in Australia for the very first time. For Elise, the moment had been months in the making. Their relationship had begun like many modern love stories, through messages, late-night video calls, and endless conversations that stretched across time zones. Joshua, living in Australia, had quickly become a comforting presence in Elise's life. What started as casual chats slowly turned into something deeper. They laughed together, shared secrets, and began imagining what their lives could look like if they were actually in the same place. But there was one problem: they had never met face to face. As the relationship grew more serious, Elise realized that the only way to truly know if their connection was real was to take a leap of faith. That meant a long flight to Australia and stepping into a completely unfamiliar world. The moment of decision. Elise wrestled with the idea for weeks. Flying across the globe to meet someone you've only seen through a phone screen isn't exactly a small step. Friends and family had mixed reactions. Some encouraged her, believing love requires courage. Others worried she was moving too fast or trusting someone she barely knew. Still, Elise couldn't shake the feeling that Joshua might be worth the risk. Every time they spoke, Joshua seemed genuine. He talked about his life in Australia, his work, his friends, and the things he hoped to do with Elise if she ever came to visit. He described beach sunsets, weekend road trips, and quiet dinners together. Those images played in Elise's mind like scenes from a romantic movie. Eventually, she made her decision. She booked the ticket. The emotional goodbye. Preparing for the trip was both exciting and terrifying. Packing her suitcase felt symbolic, like she was packing her hopes along with her clothes. What if the chemistry wasn't the same in person? What if Joshua turned out to be different from the man she had grown close to online? Those questions lingered in the back of her mind. Saying goodbye to her family before leaving made the moment feel even more real. Some hugged her tightly, wishing her luck. Others reminded her to be careful. Elise reassured them that she had done her research and believed Joshua was exactly who he said he was. But deep down, she knew there was always a chance things could go wrong. A journey across the world. The flight to Australia was long, both physically and emotionally exhausting. Sitting on the plane, Elise had hours to think. She scrolled through old messages between her and Joshua, reread sweet texts he had sent, and looked at photos he had shared of his life. Those memories helped calm her nerves. Still, as the plane moved closer to Australia, the reality of the situation became harder to ignore. Soon she would be standing in front of Joshua for the first time. There would be no screens, no filters, no distance, just the two of them. And that thought made her heart race. The anticipation of the first meeting. Meanwhile, Joshua was preparing for Elise's arrival in his own way. He wanted everything to go perfectly. After months of talking and building emotional intimacy, this meeting felt like the ultimate test of their relationship. He cleaned his home, planned places to take her, and even thought carefully about how their first meeting should happen. Should he greet her with flowers? A hug? Would it be awkward, or would it feel natural? Joshua couldn't predict how things would unfold, but he hoped the connection they had built online would translate into real life. The airport moment. Airports have always been emotional places, but for couples meeting for the first time, they carry a special kind of tension. As Elise walked through the airport terminal in Australia, her heart pounded. She scanned the crowd, searching for Joshua's face. After months of video calls, she knew exactly what he looked like, but seeing him in person felt completely different. Then she spotted him. Joshua stood there, clearly nervous but smiling. For a few seconds, time seemed to slow down. Elise approached him carefully, both of them unsure of what the first move should be. But then the nerves melted away. Joshua stepped forward, and they embraced. It wasn't perfect or cinematic. It was real, slightly awkward, emotional, and full of relief. The hug lasted longer than either expected, as if both were silently confirming that the other was truly there. First impressions. After the initial greeting, the two began talking almost immediately, laughing about how strange yet exciting the moment felt. Seeing each other without screens was surreal. Elise noticed small details she had never picked up through video calls. Joshua's height, his gestures, the way he smiled when he was nervous. Joshua, meanwhile, seemed fascinated by how natural Elise's personality felt in person. Yet, despite the excitement, there was still an unspoken question hanging between them. Would their online chemistry translate into real-world compatibility? Reality sets in. Meeting someone for the first time after months of online romance can be magical, but it can also reveal differences that were easy to overlook before. Elise and Joshua quickly realized that spending time together in person meant navigating real-life dynamics. From daily routines to cultural differences, everything suddenly felt more complicated than it had during video chats. But that's exactly what Before the 90 Days is all about, discovering whether a digital love story can survive in the real world. A test of their connection. Over the next few days, Elise and Joshua would face moments of joy, awkwardness, and honest conversations. Simple things like choosing where to eat or how to spend the day suddenly mattered. Every interaction became a clue about whether their relationship had long-term potential. Still, both seemed determined to give the relationship a real chance. For Elise, the journey had already proven one thing: she was brave enough to chase love, even when it meant stepping far outside her comfort zone. Love or lesson? As their story unfolds, viewers are left wondering whether Elise and Joshua will become another success story, or simply a reminder that online relationships don't always translate into real life. But one thing is certain: the moment Elise stepped onto that plane, she changed her own story. Sometimes love demands courage. Sometimes it demands risk. And sometimes it asks you to fly halfway across the world just to find out if what you felt through a screen was real all along.